Who's afraid of green eyeshadow? A lot of us are. I'm not actually love green eyeshadow because I have brown eyes. And so for me, the contrast works perfectly with my fair hair and my fair skin. So let's talk about it. I do want to let you know I have one filter on, and that's eyelashes, because right now I can't do any false eyelashes. So that is the only filter I have on, and I have a light, and that's it. So let's talk about this beautiful green eyeshadow look today. I am using Profusion's Emerald. Look at this. This is a dollar store product. Dollar store product. This green, this green, this green, and this color today, and then this one in the corner is how I get this beautiful look. Okay? And the thing that I want to emphasize is don't be afraid of color. Okay? Color can be really scary for a lot of people, but here's the thing. In the years that I modeled, when color goes on too much, if you think it's too much, the way to fix it is to blend it. There's a lot of people too who believe that putting a primer on your lids will help. I don't actually use a eye primer. I just simply use my concealer. That's all I do. And if I don't want to put the concealer on, I will use my foundation. I will just take what I have on my brush and put it on my lids. I just don't think personally that you need to spend the extra 15 bucks on eyeshadow primer. I think that that's just a little bit more than you need to do. So let's talk about the positioning of the colors. So what I do for the base here, let me just tell you before we get into the green, I do have a liner on today, and it is a burgundy lip pencil, and I put this on with a very, very skinny brush. I do it along the lash line on the top and the bottom. I do not put it inside my waterline. I put it on the outside on the top and the bottom. Just FYI, that's how I start this look with this color. It's also the color that is on my lip with a gloss. That's the only extra product that I use to get this look besides this palette. So what I do is I take these first two colors and I blend them a little bit, okay? And I start down on the lid right here, the lid right here. I blend these two colors together and I pat it on my eye. I get a really thick brush and I pat it on the eye. I staple it on the eye with this sort of stamping motion is how I do it, okay? I get that on the lid. Then I come through with this lighter color here. Well, it technically you could call this the darker one and this the lighter one. I used this one to then go from the lid, and I took it a little bit up into the transitional area. Okay, I put that up in transition. Then on top of that, I blended it with this color. Okay, so I put in the lid, up in transition, and when I say transition, I say on the bone. This is what I mean by transition, where you get the crease in your eye up to your bone. So for me, transition is that whole area. On top of that, I then come in with this color, and I put just a very small amount of that on top of the green to blend it out, so you get a distinction between the top of your brow and the color on your lid and through your transition. I then come in with this color, and I put a very little bit underneath my brow. I also come down here and I put it in here. So I'm using this color to accent my brow, and I'm using this color to make sure that I have no shadowing here. I take it all the way up to my brow and I bring it down, and I just slightly put in it, sort of like making half a C right here with this color to make sure that I have no green shadowing that ends up against my nose, because if it ends up against my nose, I'm going to look like I have a black eye, and I don't want that. So I want to make sure that I get a really clean look right in through here. And then I just transition that just a little bit here. Then I take this color and I put it down underneath the liner that I've put under here just a little bit. I'm hardly using any, just enough to create a continuation of the green here to the green down here. Then I also come through at the very end here. I mix these two colors, more this color than this color, and I put that in the inner 1/3 of my lid. And the reason I do that is I want when you look on at your face, you want to immediately be drawn to your nose area because that makes your eyes look much wider and much bigger. So if you do a contrast and you make this area in here a little bit lighter, you're going to look like you have light shining on you, which then tricks your eye into believing that you have a bigger, taller, and wider eye. And that is it. It's a very, very simple look. The only thing that I didn't explain to you is when I put on my liner with my really skinny hard brush and I put it underneath here, I took the liner and I extended it out, okay, to create the longer look here. Now, if for some reason it gets clunky or you feel like the colors aren't blending easily, a good trick from a makeup artist that I worked with when I was really heavy into modeling, whatever palette you're working with, go to whatever color in the green tones, the main color that you're working with, go to whatever color your eye classifies as the lightest color. For me, it's this one. So if I feel like I haven't blended correctly, I'll get a really fluffy brush. And I'll pick up just a little bit of this. And I never do this, guys, with my, I never pick up shadow and then hit the top of it like that. Because when you hit the top of it, you're taking too much off. That's why you got to reapply all the time. So I never do that with my brush. I pick up the lighter color, and then if my colors aren't blending correctly, or if you feel like they're chunky or creating too heavy a line, pick up a little bit of this lighter color on a very fluffy brush, and then just blend it in a little bit. I promise you, it's easier to blend by putting too much on than to continually, in my opinion, continually have to add more and more, because when you do that, I personally feel the colors can get a little blotchy. You're also going to have more risk of fallout underneath your eyes. Okay, so that's it for that green eyeshadow. As I mentioned earlier, the only filter that I have on right now is my eyelash filter because I'm not wearing any fake eyelashes. So to complete the look, I do have a filter, so it looks like I have longer lashes than I actually do, but that's just my preference. So there you go. Don't be afraid of using a strong, bold green, and it looks spectacular against a brown eye. As you can see, I have a very dark brown eye, and when I do this look, I do try to match my liner color with my lip color. I try to make it the same product because it just looks better. It looks more cohesive to have the liner and the lip the same color. You could also take that to the blush too, where you have a little bit darker toned blush than a pinker toned blush. And there you go. Don't be afraid of green. It is a stunning, beautiful color, especially the darker greens in the wintertime. Have a great day.